Hey guys, today I'm going to do the unboxing and overview of two different music players, and both of these music players retail for around the same price point, so I would say that they're fairly competitive with each other. So the first one I'm going to take a look at is the Shanling M1 Plus. This is by the Chinese audio company Shanling, who makes a lot of different digital audio players and also in-ear monitors as well. So this is probably their second most affordable music player. The most affordable one is the $130 Shanling M0 Pro. So the M1 Plus sits just above it at $200 US. And this is fairly affordable for a music player because Shanling makes music players all the way up to $3,000 with their M9, I believe, M9 Plus. So yeah, the M1 Plus is a fairly recent music player that they released, and it's kind of confusing because they have another music player around the same price point called the M1S, and the M1S and the M1 Plus are both around the same price, like around $200, and they have similar specs, I would say. The M1S is a little bit more similar in size, I would say, to the M0 Pro, except it's like a bigger square version of that player. And the M1 Plus here is a little bit more like a traditional music player because it has the rectangular form factor instead. So I would say the main difference in size would be the form factor difference, because the M1 Plus is also really small and portable as well. It's only slightly bigger than the M1S. But yeah, both of these music players are around the same price range. They have similar specs, and the size difference isn't that much either. Like the M1 Plus is slightly bigger than the M1S. But the M1 Plus is newer and has a slightly better DAC chip. So this one has the M1 Plus. I'm just going to go over the specs here. It has ESS ES9069Q DAC. That's one of ESS Saber's newest DACs. So this is essentially the improved version of the ESS 9038Q2M, which the M1S has. So this is the main difference being that the ES9069Q has MQA unfolding support, as well as the new ESS Hyperstream 4 architecture. The ES9038Q2M has the Hyperstream 2 architecture. So this one has a newer ESS architecture in it. And amplifier is dual SGM 8262, and the platform is Ingenic X2000. That's the same as with the M1S, and the M-Touch operating system, the same as the M1S. The screen is bigger. It's a 3.2-inch 320 by 480 touchscreen. That's bigger than the 2.8-inch screen that's on the M1S, and that's a lot bigger than the 1.54-inch screen that's on the M0 Pro. And it supports Bluetooth 5.2, which is yeah, this is one of the latest versions of Bluetooth, so I'm very happy with this one because I bought this player mainly to actually I bought both of these players to serve mainly as a streaming wireless type of player. I'm not going to be using the wired connections too much on these players. Mostly it's for the wireless and streaming capabilities. So it's good that this one has Bluetooth 5.2. I believe the M1S only has 5.0, and it supports the same codecs, LDAC, aptX HD and stuff, so that's all good. The power outputs, I would say similar to the M1S, 195 milliwatts on the single-ended unbalanced and 660 milliwatts on the balanced. The balanced output is definitely very, very high for this price range. Like, this is a $200 player and you're getting 660 milliwatts on the balanced, which can drive pretty much most headphones on the market, so that's pretty impressive, very good value. M1S also has a pretty similar output though, also pretty good too. And both of these players, the M1S and M1 Plus, are extremely higher output than the M0 Pro. The M0 Pro on the balanced, I think, is like 225 or something. It's only slightly more powerful than the single-ended output on these players. So, anyways, you guys can think of the M1 Plus as essentially a slight upgrade over the M1S. It's slightly bigger, yes, but has the I guess more traditional rectangular form factor, and yeah, it has a newer DAC. But everything else is fairly similar to the M1S, and it retails for around the same price, $200. Okay, so yeah, now let's get on to the unboxing here. Yeah, so you can see the support LDAC on the side and aptX HD. It's too bad it doesn't support aptX lossless, because the newest aptX is aptX lossless, and unfortunately there's not too many players that support that so far. We'll have to see, you know, coming up, but aptX lossless support would be nice. But yeah, here's Shanling's little model here. Life is short, play more. All these Chinese companies gotta have some motto. You know, Haibi has their own, Cayenne has their own. Yeah, anyways, wow. That's really small, okay? Man, okay, so yeah, the M0 Pro is obviously smaller than this. However, you guys can see that this is not that much bigger. It's still incredibly like portable and tiny. Like, wow. Like compared to the M1S, I don't think this is that much bigger than the M1S even. And the M1S is pretty tiny too. But I don't think this is much bigger than the M1S. Wow, this is tiny. Wow, okay, definitely in the pictures, like this looks smaller than the pictures, I'm just gonna say. In the pictures, it looks kind of like, you know, almost like a regular size music player, I guess, but now that I look at it here, it's pretty much a micro player. Yeah, so it's definitely pretty portable. What else do we got here in the box? Okay, so accessories. What do we get here? We get a screen protector right here. That's nice to have. Quick start guide and warranty card right here. And what's this? Shanling, enjoy music anytime, anywhere. Oh, this is just a little brochure, right? So they started in 1988. I didn't know they started that long ago. They're a Chinese company, right? 1988. That would have been just like not too long after China even opened up to the market. Like, they were like fully communist before the 1980s, so wouldn't have been long after they even opened up to free trade. Okay, so this is a lineup of their devices. UA4, UA1 Plus. So my experience with Shanling, I've had a few Shanling products in the past. I've had the original M0, which was back in 2018. I think that would have been my first Shanling device. And then in 2020, I picked up the Shanling UA2, which is a pretty good USB-C dongle. So that's my experience with Shanling. And then, of course, I reviewed the M1S as well, which was a bit, you know, that was a bit disappointing because I got a defective one. So hopefully the quality control can be better on this M1 Plus version. Yeah, so this is just a little overview of their lineup here. So now they have the M0 Pro, we just saw the M1S, they're still selling. Again, not sure why they still sell the M1S when they have the M1 Plus here, because I don't think that the M1 Plus is even, like size-wise, it's not even that different. Like the M1 Plus looks like it's smaller, because it has like this little square form factor here. But now when you look at this player here, it's actually really small. So it's not really even that much bigger than the M1S, and it's technically spec-wise better than the M1S. So don't know why they still keep the M1S then. The M1 Plus should technically be better. Yeah. They have a CD player that they're selling, and Shanling makes high-end players too. Like this stuff is like their cheaper stuff, but they make high-end DAPs. Yeah, so Shanling's flagship DAP or their flagship music player is the M9 Plus that has the flagship AKM AK4499EX DAC in it. That costs about $3,000 US. So yeah, don't think of Shanling as just making cheap stuff. Their flagship music player costs $3,000 US, so that's not cheap. Yeah, the M9 Plus. Well, this is the M1 Plus though. This is definitely on the more affordable side. Quick start guide, have Chinese stuff here, but should be pretty straightforward, right? Just it's a music player, and it's powered by M-Touch, which I have used before, right, on the M0. So, anyways, that's a little quick start stuff in the screen protector. Alright, I think this would be the cables, right? Yeah, just to confirm. USB-A to USB-C. Yeah, just as you would expect. Yeah. The only thing is, like, I wonder if they give you USB-C to USB-C or USB-A and USB-C. Because I know it's a USB-C cable, just what's on the other end. It's really the only thing. But that's all expected. Alright, let's take a look at the exterior of the player here. So like I said, it's a really small player. Like the pictures don't like really tell you how small it is. Like when you see the pictures of the M1 Plus, you think it looks bigger than it actually is, but it's tiny. Look how much it fits in the palm of my hand right here. So this is my hand, right? So it's about this size. I mean, and I have Asian hands, so it's like I don't have really big hands or anything, but yeah, pretty small. One thing is interesting with the volume knob here. Okay, it's depressible, right? And I'm guessing that would be the power button as well, because that's how it was on the Hydits AP80. Is the volume dial was also the power button, and it looks like it is because it's depressible. So, anyways, I think that's the volume button when you press it in. One thing I don't understand is why didn't they make a cutout on the back here? Like most of these music players, if they have a volume dial, the cutout would be on the back, not the front. right? If you have it on the back, it would be easier to for your finger to hit it. But for some reason, Shanling doesn't have any cutout on the back. It only has it on the front, which means you have to use your other hand to use it, right? You got to use your thumb like this to adjust the volume. Why make it a two-handed operation? Why not just put like yeah, why not put a notch on the back so that you can use it one-handed? Like, I can still do it, but it's like not, you know, not as good as if it had a bigger notch on the back. So that's one thing I'm a little bit perplexed about, because most of these music players, if they have a dial here, they have like a little notch on the back so that you can easily hit it with your index finger. So that's a one-handed operation, right? I can still do it, but it's just not, there's no notch on the back, so it's not as easy. And the notch is on the front instead, and then it's a two-handed operation now if you want to adjust the volume. So don't know why Shanling did it that way. They should have just put a notch on the back. So yeah, on the back it says Shanling, high-res audio certified, high audio res, wireless certified, obviously made in China. It's pretty solid in terms of build quality for this price point. It's actually pretty impressive, actually. Like, this is some nice solid aluminum here. It's not plastic. It's solid aluminum, and this is a $200 music player. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, that already is like an upgrade in materials over the M0 and the Hi-Dits AP80, right? Because those are like plastic players. This is like aluminum. Already you get a materials upgrade, and don't have to pay that much more for it, actually. Yeah, the screen is all touchscreen. There's no home button or whatever. It's just their logo. On the side here, left side, you get the three main buttons here, which are actually these are very rigid buttons. Yeah, this is very sharp, actually. I feel like, yeah, very sharp buttons. So if you have like soft fingers or whatever, this might actually hurt when you press down on it, because it's actually quite sharp, these edges. So obviously you have one that's previous track, next track, and play pause here. But yeah, the buttons are very sharp. Yeah, wow. I'm going to I think this is meant for your thumb. Your thumb is okay. If I were to use like my other fingers, like it might actually leave a little dent in my fingers here, because it's actually very sharp to hit these little buttons here. Wow, they really machined this very sharply. Sharply machined. Okay, so on the top here you get the regular you got the 3.5 millimeter as well as the 4.4 millimeter balanced. That's a nice upgrade, actually, over the M0 Pro, which only has one output. You just have to use an adapter to upgrade it to the balanced. So yeah, you get the full 4.4 millimeter balanced here though. And then the bottom here, you got the SD card slot and USB-C, which you can also use. You can also use it as a DAC, as you can with most apps. So yeah, nice to have a dedicated bounce jack right here. Although the thing is with this player, just like with the M0, I'm trying to decide on a player I'm going to use mostly for Bluetooth and wireless, because I have my full-size Hi-B RS6 if I want to use wired. So it's cool that they have like balanced support, and it's worth it because like 660 milliwatts out of the balanced, like that can drive most headphones. Probably drive my Hi-Fi-Man Aria Stealth with no problems, and that's probably my hardest to drive. So yeah, this balanced output will be good enough to drive most headphones on the market. So even if you wanted to use this just with wired headphones, it's a good choice. Yeah, it's got a nice balanced output that's very powerful. But I'm primarily going to use it wirelessly because I just want to have a small media player I can use when I'm working out. So this should be a nice upgrade over the M0 Pro and the AP80 Pro X. So anyway, stay tuned for my thoughts on the operating system interface. Alright, so first let's take a look at the operating system of the M1 Plus, and I've updated it to the latest firmware, and you guys can see that you have this little lock screen here which can show you the date and the time and everything, as well as the current song that you're playing. The little wheel here lights up a different color, I guess, depending on what type of song you're playing, or if you're charging or not. If you're charging it, then it just kind of it's red when it's charging. So that's a nice touch. You know, I don't expect RGB on something like this, but you do get that, so that's cool. Okay, so this is my current song that I'm playing right now, Moonlight by Ariana Grande, but it's going to replace it with whatever song you're currently playing as a lock screen, kind of. So yeah, this is the interface, the M-Touch interface. If you guys have used Shanling's other entry-level DAPs, then it should be fairly familiar. I would say that because this is running on the Ingenic X2000 platform, just like with the M1S, It's fairly responsive. I'm okay with this interface. It's not bogged down by traditional Android or anything like that. So yeah, this is a like it's not like the fastest interface, but it's good enough and it's fairly responsive to me, anyways, for a device of this price range. And yeah, you can actually customize which icons and stuff appear on the home screen. So it does support Tidal. I think this is the only streaming solution it supports because it's not like an open Android platform. You can't just dump your Android apps on here. I don't think like there's no Google Play Store here or anything. You just have whatever they give you here. And I think Tidal is the only one that's currently supported out of the streaming solutions. So no Spotify or Qobuz or Deezer or whatever else. You have a CD ripper here as well, which I don't really use, but it's cool to have that technology. If you look at the settings here, yeah, so you have you can change the language, wireless setting, so you know Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, sync link. I don't know what sync link is, but you have that as well. Network service, so you have DLNA support. So if you have a you know music server on your network, you can access that. You have AirPlay support. I don't use iPhones, but of course if you're using an iPhone, that's cool. As AirPlay, Wi-Fi file transfer, you can do that as well. Display setting, you could do a change the brightness, screen off, lock screen, atmosphere lamp. Yeah, you can actually change. That's I think the color of that little the little glow right here. You can change that. That's cool. Idle, you can change the sleep timer here, date and time. Of course, you can set that as well. In vehicle mode, you can set special mode for when you're in a vehicle. Double tap to turn screen off. Buttons lock, you can turn on the lock so that you don't accidentally press it when it's in your pocket. Screen rotation, you can have it rotate the screen. You can like rotate a landscape if you want. Theme, simplified color or pop color. We'll change pop color, is a little bit more vibrant, I guess. System update, you can do either wireless. This does have, you know, Wi-Fi network capability, so you can either update it from the card or wireless. And yeah, so currently I have firmware version 2.0 on right now. And playback setting, you can change the gain from low gain to high gain. You can change the digital filters. By default, it's set to linear phase, fast roll off, low ripple. But you have all these different digital filters if you want to change it. Yeah, so I'm guessing like minimum phase would be the one that's least like intrusive or whatever. But yeah, anyway, I just left it on the default. Yeah, EQ, you can turn on the EQ if you want. So I just set it to flat. I don't usually like to fiddle around with EQ. A lot of people do. So there's EQ there. Play mode, you can do list play, repeat track, shuffle, repeat all here. Max volume, you can change the max volume here. There's 100 steps of volume in this one, right? For other digital audio players, it could be different. I know Acetone Current goes all the way up to 150, but there's only 100 stops of volume in this one. Default volume, I have this set to 30 right now. Actually, that's the default, set to 30. DSD output mode, you can do D2P, DOP native. I don't really listen to DSDs, so but it's cool. There's an option USB audio output, volume fixed or volume variable. That's if you use it as a USB DAC. Memory playback, off track location, gapless playbacks on, replay gain, off audio or album. A lot of different settings here. Channel balance, you can change that. The album art, you can change that. Album cover, folder skip. There's a lot of different options there. This is a playlist. You can of course go through make a playlist and go through those. High res files only looks for like FLACs and stuff like that. So high res files actually found all the different FLACs and stuff that were on my SD card. So it managed to find, I guess, everything above CD quality. So like the 44.1 kilohertz or 16-bit, whatever. Anything higher than that, it's going to find on your SD card, which is pretty cool. Frequent, this is the one that's like your most last listened to, most listened to, recently added, recent listened to, my favorites, composer, you can go by that, genres, artist, folder, album, songs, and update library is just going to scan your library for new songs, which will automatically do. Actually, once I insert a card, it will automatically scan for any new songs that it hasn't indexed before. So that's pretty cool. You can slide down from the top here. You have something similar to Android right here, right? You turn on Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. You can lock the buttons. You can change from high gain to low gain. You can change it from USB DAC to USB audio. So you can, USB storage, actually, USB storage, USB DAC, USB audio. So those are the three options. You have output options here, so you can change the output from here, from using the headphone amp to using it as a line out. So if you choose it as a line out, then it's not going to go through the headphone amp, it's just going to go through the DAC. If you have an external amplifier, that's really useful if you just want to use this as a DAC for your amplifier. Playback, you can change the playback settings quickly there. System settings, right, very quick there. You can change, of course, the brightness as well. So those are the different stuff you can do with that menu. And you can go in from the side here. Swiping from the side, you can select the items that will show on the home screen here. So if, like, I don't really listen to, I don't care about composer, frequent, recent, recently added, don't care too much about that. Title, I don't use title, I don't use the CD ripper. So yeah, let's say I do that, and then that'll simplify your home screen a little bit. So you can choose to, you know, add whatever to your home screen. So anyways, that's all pretty cool. And then you can search for songs as well, but it depends, because like if I go into artists, for some reason it doesn't let me search artists. I don't know why. Like album, I can go into album right here. Whoops. Yeah, I can search by album. Yeah, I can search by album, so you have search there. And genres, can I search? I can search by genres. Okay, so it's for some reason I can't search by artist. I don't know why, but the other ones seem to have search. If I just go to all songs, obviously it should have the search here. Yeah, this can be a little bit laggy because I do have a lot of songs on here. So I think the song I was playing was Ariana Grande, so it does have like a recent search right there. By the way, guys, the search is kind of like this old school cell phone style search. Like if you guys have used the non-smartphone cell phones before, you might be like familiar with this. And if you remember, guys, like in the 2000s, like before people used smartphones a lot, you had this type of interface here. I'm sure you guys are used to it, right? Like if you're of a certain age. Yeah, like the numpads. You use the numpads to enter in the different, you search by this, right? So you be like, you have to type like that. And this actually does bring me back to those days where I had to do this. Yeah, and then it's search for like that. So anyways, it's got a really old school numpad style search for the text. I think they did that to conserve space, because if you have a full screen QWERTY keyboard here, I think it'll take up too much space because this device is so small. So they went with the numpad style text input. That's fine. I mean, you're not going to be using it all the time, right? And remember, people had to use this at a time when they used to text people, like SMS messages back in the day too. Like you're not using as much as that, and the people put up with that back then. Anyways, you can kind of swipe up. Yeah, so I can click on my currently playing song. Of course, you know, my hardware buttons should work right here. Play, or go to next track or previous track. Yeah. And then on this interface here, we can see the album art cover. We can see lyrics if there's lyrics. You can see more information about the file. You can click here to add to playlist, repeat, multiple speed. You can speed it up, download the cover and lyrics, look up album, look up artist. A lot of things you can do. Delete. Here you can favorite it. You can repeat, shuffle. Yeah, you can do all that. You can go through the album. So yeah, it's basically everything that's pretty nice in this music player. It's everything you might want. And then you just swipe up from the bottom to go back like you would on a smartphone. So that's it for the interface. I have to say that, by the way, I did listen to this wired. So I did plug into my Audio-Technica Awaz and my Hi-Fi-Man Aria Stealth. Those are my current headphones I usually use for listening right now. And the sound is really good, actually. I would say that the ES9069Q, this is one of the flagship stereo DACs that ESS makes right now. So all in all, the sound quality is quite good for the price. I mean, for $200, this really punches above its price range when it comes to the sound quality. Like, that DAC is really good for what you're paying for this price. So I mean, you're talking about the flagship ESS stereo DAC here for $200. So I'm really impressed with the sound quality from here. Sounds pretty refined, detailed. Now it's not like quite as detailed as you know, something like my Aston Current SC300, right? Or the soundstage is not quite as much as that. But that player originally retailed for $1,900. I mean, come on, can't really compare, right? So it's not going to compare to that level of player. But I would say this punches above its price range, can easily compete with DAPs costing like $700, $800 even. So anyways, pretty impressive DAC here. And just the circuit here is really nice. So yeah, you're talking about ES9039Q. The implementation of that is pretty nice in this thing. Definitely punches above its weight. Easily competes with players, you know, costing 3 times or even 4 times as much, I would say. So very good sound output out of that DAC right now. I would say it's not like the last word on detail or soundstage or whatever, but it's fairly balanced sounding, neutral-ish, and yeah, it's overall fairly detailed for what you're paying. So I didn't really use this too much for the wired outputs, even though the wired outputs are really good, and the power of the balance, 660 milliwatts out on the balance, that's pretty good. That can easily drive my HiFiMan, even though that's a planar magnetic headphone. Usually planar magnetics need a little bit more power, especially like HiFiMan headphones definitely benefit from more power. So yeah, the fact that it can drive my HiFiMan is pretty well. So again, very impressive for a $200 DAP like this. I usually mostly want to use this for Bluetooth and streaming though, so I did hook up some of my paired devices, and yeah, so it's able to pair with most of my devices fine, like my wireless earbuds and then my Bose SoundLink Bluetooth speaker. But for some reason my other Bluetooth speaker, the Fender Tiffle Rockstar Go 2, it doesn't pair for that one. And that one I think is you had to have an Android interface in order to pair well, because yeah, I've been trying to pair that one and that one just won't pair properly. So unfortunately, except for that Bluetooth speaker, the rest of the devices seem fine. It's just yeah, when it comes to some certain Bluetooth speakers, I guess it doesn't like the fact that this is an Android. It's like some sort of I mean, this must be built off of, like M-Touch must be built off of Android, but it isn't actually Android, so maybe it's missing something that Bluetooth speaker is looking for. But yeah, aside from one of my Bluetooth speakers, the rest pair fine. Is yeah, maybe it's just like it doesn't see this as a proper Android device or something like that. I don't know. But I'm pretty satisfied with this player actually. For 200 bucks, yeah, if you have the Shanling M0 Pro or Hydits AP80, which I did videos on before, yeah, this is a nice upgrade. I mean, it's not that much bigger. It is bigger, but it's not like that much bigger. It's still really portable and compact, and much more powerful, right? It's got the dedicated jacks for balanced, and it can power most headphones out of this, right? Even you have a high impedance Beyerdynamic or Sennheiser or HiFiMan or Audis, yeah, it can power most headphones with that jack, and sound quality is pretty good. It's got a pretty solid DAC inside of it. It's not the pro level ESS Saber DAC, but so what? I mean, when it comes to 2-channel DACs, at least this is still pretty good. You're talking about $200 US for this small thing. It's built really well. Interface is nice. It's not too laggy. It's, you know, fairly responsive and everything. Sound quality is really good. The wireless support has been good as well. Like, I don't have too much to complain about this player. Yeah, it's fairly responsive given the fact that you know, it's for the $200 price point. You know, I'm going to judge it based on the fact that it's a $200 player, of course. I'm not going to compare it to like $1,000, $2,000 players. But if you look at the $200 price point, this is probably one of the best players you can buy. The sound quality, Bluetooth codec support, the responsiveness of the interface, the build quality, yeah, usability, everything it's just nice. It's a nice player. So overall, really like it. I really do like the Shanling M1 Plus. So anyways, this is going to be one of the players I'm going to look at in this video right here. And next up, I have another player which I'll then compare to this one. And it's actually slightly more expensive than this one. But it's going to have to compete pretty well, because at $200, this player easily punches, you know, really above its weight. Like, the sound quality is easily equivalent to like a $600 music player, I would say. So very, very impressive. All right, stay tuned for the next player I'm going to take a look at and compare it to this one. Alright, so the next music player that I want to show in this video and compare is the Sony Walkman NW-A306. It's not a surprise to anyone who has seen the title of this video. This is going to be the music player that I want to compare it to. So yeah, this is $300, so it's like $100 more expensive than the Shanling M1 Plus. And yeah, it's a Sony Walkman. What else can I say? Sony Walkmans are probably the most well-known and recognized music players outside of the iPod, obviously. But Many people might not know that Sony still makes Walkmans. In fact, I don't think people are fully aware of the extent of the amount of devices that Sony makes. Sony makes almost everything. I mean, they make headphones, they make speakers, they make TVs, they make cameras, robots. Like, just off the top of my head, they make so many different devices. They still make mobile phones. A lot of people don't realize Sony still has a mobile phone division and they still sell them. So they're not out of business when it comes to the mobile phones. I use a Sony Xperia as my main mobile phone. And yeah, they still make Walkmans as well. Many people may not be aware of that. So this is actually their most affordable Walkman, the NW-A306. Yeah, it starts out $300, and I think they go all the way up to like over $3,000. Because the most expensive Sony, their top of the line one right now is the WM1ZM2, which is, yeah, that is actually over 3,700 US dollars. Holy crap. So yeah, not only does Sony make Walkmans, they make all the way up to very, very expensive high-end digital audio players as well. So yeah, they're top of the line in the WM1ZM2. That's like $3,700. Crazy. Anyways, this is their entry level, $300. So it's pretty small as well, very pocketable, which is what I wanted, and also it runs Android, which I think is a lot of people online have said that that the Android actually slows it down too much, but I want to take a look, and the Android might be useful in case I want to install other apps on it, like streaming apps and stuff. That's something I can't do with the Shanling M1 Plus. So anyways, this comes with 32 gigs of memory. That's pretty good. The Shanling doesn't come with any built-in memory. You have to use the SD card. LDAC, of course, that's a Sony invention, by the way. So, of course, they would support LDAC. That's their own codec that they invented. High-res audio, certified 360-degree audio, another Sony invention. So you had to download this little Sony app and stuff usually. And then you connect some headphones, and then it tries to duplicate some kind of virtual surround thing. I think I haven't tried this out too much, but it should be similar to like a Dolby Atmos DTS Headphone X, or Creative Super X-Fi I've tried before. The THX Spatial Audio, like, should be kind of similar to that. But I haven't tried the Sony 360 Reality Audio or tested it extensively yet. I have done a video on my channel comparing those four that I mentioned, though. Okay, so on the side here, you have DSE Ultimate, which is Sony's like little software that they use to restore like compressed audio. And I've seen this before in a lot of other devices too. Like Harman had something called Clearfi, I think, Clear Audio, Clearfi or something that did something similar, and Creative had the X-Fi Crystallizer that did something similar. In my experience, these things are always like, a lot of people like just turn them off or leave them off if they're interested in just not having something like very artificial sounding. I mean, I leave it on. Usually it doesn't make too much difference to me, but yeah, some of my friends, like, they don't like to use this. Actually, my audiophile friend doesn't like to use stuff like this because it's like too artificial for him. He doesn't like to have this artificial like upsampling stuff. Anyways, it's there. That's Sony's technology for their upsampling. S Master HX. This is Sony's technology for their circuit. So unlike other companies, you guys who have been Sony fans, I'm a Sony fan. I'm a huge Sony fan, actually. I have owned a whole bunch of their devices and showed them off in different collections on my channel. But yeah, those of you guys who know Sony know that they like to have their proprietary technology. They've done this, like, you know, memory stick duo. They've done their own thing, like, yeah, they actually co-invented the CD, right? They had mini disc, like all these technologies, Blu-ray, that Sony kind of pioneered and tried to invent themselves. The PS Vita memory card, you know, they like to use their own proprietary technology. And for Sony, when it comes to Walkmans, it's no different. They don't use off-the-shelf DACs. They don't use the SS Saber. They don't use the Saikase. They don't use Cirrus Logic. They have their own DAC. So their old DAC and amplifier system they call S Master HX. So yeah, they don't use any off-the-shelf DAC parts or whatever. They don't use Texas Instruments for their amplifiers. Yeah, they unlike other like Chinese audio companies and other companies for their music players. Yeah, Sony is completely in-house. Yeah, they do everything just like with all the other products. They do everything in-house. That's how Sony likes to do it. Wi-Fi certified, Bluetooth. I think this is Bluetooth 5.1, which is not as high as the Shanling M1 Plus, and Shanling M1 Plus is 5.2, but this is 5.1. Anyways, it still should be pretty decent. And yeah, this is their cheapest player. Box itself is not too special, but let's check it out. What's inside? And but it's consistent. You know, all of Sony's like kind of boxes look kind of like this. And thing is, like, one thing I don't like about Sony and Japanese companies in general is why does their naming have to be like this? Like, it's just always so weird. Like, whenever I try to like tell someone to recommend a Sony device, it's always some very long like SKU type of name, SKU type of name, right? It's like Sony doesn't even bother to think of a good name for their devices. Yeah, it's like the Walkman. It's like, hey, what kind of Walkman should I get? Should I get the A306? Should I get the WM1Z M2? Like, geez, so hard, right? And the headphones, like 1000 XM5. Which 1000 XM5? The WF 1000 XM5 or the WH 1000 XM5? Like, come on, Sony. Like other Japanese companies, same thing. Yeah, Panasonic and Pioneer and Yamaha and Denon, like they all have the same problem. Like, Jesus, Japanese companies, for some reason they always name their names like this, some kind of machine name. Like it's not like Western companies, right? Like Sennheiser has the Momentums, right? That's easy to remember. So, anyways, but nope, Sony's 1000 XM5, XM4, like some crazy name like that. Anyways, that's my little nitpick with how Japanese companies, including Sony, how they name their devices. So now I have to tell people, yes, this is the NW-A306. Quite a mouthful. Anyways, this is the player. It's very, very small. Let's see what else is in the box here. Okay. Oh, you get this. Okay, this is a quick start guide, I'm guessing. Yep, the quick start guide. Connect it to your laptop. Connect it to your, well, man, this folds into something really big. But basically all this is just, hey, connect it to your wall outlet to charge it. Connect it to your computer to transfer music files, like duh. Like, I don't need to have a huge ass paper telling me, this is like a waste of paper, man. Do I really need to have this kind of big ass paper just to tell me something simple like that? Like, yes, I know how to use a volume button. Okay. Then you get, what is this? Listening for a lifetime? Okay. Digital media player. I think this is just, oh, it's a reference guide? Okay, so this is just telling you again how to operate the player, which should be pretty simple. It's an audio player. Yeah. Some sort of warranty card. Yeah, anyways, that's all that's in here. And you get one cable, which is USB-A to USB-C, as you would expect. And they don't even have the little clip-on tie thing, the little tie. Okay, just a nitpick, but you should have that. Because, yeah, it's going to be tangled. Okay, let's take a look. The player itself. So this is the back of the player. It's very textured. It's got this textured back here, which makes it easier to grip, I guess. Made in China, as you would expect for something of this price. And this is the front of the player. Yeah, so it's very light, easy to hold, noticeably thinner than most DAPs. Yep. So nothing on the top here, nothing on the left side. All the controls on the, all the stuff is on the left and bottom side here. So the left side here, let's take a look. There's a hold button here in case you don't want to accidentally depress your buttons when it's in your pocket. You have next track, you have previous track, you have play pause right here. You have, this is a volume button adjustment. So this one does not have a rotary dial. So a lot of digital audio players have the rotary dials, right? This one does not have a rotary dial. It has instead just the regular volume up and down buttons instead, which is fine, I guess, for a cheap player like this. Not expecting a rotary dial all the time. Power button right there. So all your buttons on the side. There's a decent number of them, so it's fine. On the bottom here, you have your, so you have a 3.5 millimeter and then you have a 4.4 millimeter Pentacon connector for balanced. And by the way, Sony also kind of invented this as well. So the balanced output standard, I would say, for headphones right now is 4.4 millimeter. There was this competing 2.5 millimeter standard, but people gravitated to 4.4 because it's more sturdy. And Sony was the one who really really pushed this. So I would say Sony is probably one of the well, I wouldn't say they invented it, but they definitely were the main, I would say, company that kind of pushed the 4.4 millimeter connection. And now you see all the digital audio players use the 4.4 now for balanced. So again, that's another Sony thing that they pushed. And USB-C connection, of course, and the micro SD card slot right there. So that's pretty much it. Pretty small player, and it has all the ports and controls that you would want. Got the Walkman branding on the back. I've not see, I have not done a Walkman review or overview on my channel since what, 2017? Yeah, 2017 was the last time that I actually looked at a Walkman on my channel. I think that was the Sony Walkman A17 at the time. So yeah. Wow, it's been a while since I've held a Walkman, and that Walkman logo brings back memories, because this was the Walkman logo that was used in some of the Sony Ericsson Walkman phones back in the day. I remember seeing those phones, and I actually owned some of them, so yeah, this is a throwback, man. This Walkman logo really reminds me of those late 2000s, mid to late 2000s Sony Ericsson Walkman phones. Yep, so this is a comparison here of the Shanling M1 Plus. You guys can see how much thicker the M1 Plus is. The M1 Plus is quite a bit thicker than the Sony Walkman. Of course, the Shanling is like a little bit smaller in terms of the length, right? So see, so the length is a little bit smaller than the Walkman, but it's like almost double the thickness. So yeah, the Shanling is quite a bit thicker. And the Shanling also has the rotary dial. That's part of the reason why it's thicker, I think, is because it has to support this rotary dial as well. But maybe they have some other circuitry inside. I don't know. I also don't know what the output power of this Walkman is. Sony doesn't really give that in the specs. So yeah, I don't know what the output power of the Sony Walkman is, how much power it can drive. I assume that if it has a balanced, it should be able to drive some, like, has a decent amount of power to drive some headphones, but we'll see. I'm not going to use this for the wired very much anyways, so I didn't care too much about that. But just be aware that when it comes to Sony, they don't really publish too much of what kind of DAC they use, or you know, the total harmonic distortion and what kind of output power it has. That's the stuff that you see from other audio companies like Aston Kern and FiO and Shanling, Hybe, but you don't really see like Sony publish too many of those specs. Anyways, you just have to kind of try it out, I guess, or look at reviews online. Maybe they would know. Anyways, I'm gonna boot up the interface here because it's supposed to be based on Android. Actually, it's based on Android 12, I believe. Yeah. Anyways, it should support all the high-res formats, and it should support aptX HD as well as the LDAC. So that's good, right? You want to have aptX HD and LDAC because a lot of headphones and Bluetooth speakers, they either support one or the other. So anyways, stay tuned, guys. We'll look at the interface. Alright, so this is the interface of the Sony Walkman. It's been updated to the latest firmware. Actually, it goes all the way up to Android 14, believe it or not. So I was wrong about Android 12. It actually goes all the way up to 14, which is nice. So yeah, this is the lock screen here, which is pretty similar to a smartphone lock screen, except it will show your the music that you're currently playing. And again, I'm using Ariana Grande here just for examples. And on the screen, you can actually access Google Home. This is a shortcut for Google Home if you press and hold on that. But yeah, I'm just going to press and hold on this, and then go to the music player, which is the Sony Walkman music player. And this whole thing runs pretty much just Android. And if you guys have used Sony Xperia mobile phones before, like I have, this should be pretty familiar. So this pretty much is a very similar interface to the Sony Xperia mobile phones, except this is, yeah, it's got more dedicated music apps built in and stuff. But pretty much similar. It's like just a smaller version of a Sony Xperia mobile phone and the Android that it runs. I've already installed a few music apps on here, but pretty much it is Android, like Android 14 and stuff. So if you guys have used Android, of course, this should be pretty familiar. Yeah, this is mostly just like using a mobile phone, essentially. Yes, it is slow, but I would say it's not like it's unusable or anything like that. Like for people online saying like Android really bogs down the device and stuff, just make sure you uninstall as many unnecessary stuff as you can, because it does come with a lot of like just useless stuff, like non-music related stuff even pre-installed. So make sure you uninstall everything that you don't actually need, and then it'll speed it up a little bit. So yeah, it's still going to be like, you know, on the slow side, I would say, because you know it's one of Sony's entry level music players, right? So this is actually the cheapest music player that they currently sell. So yeah, they're not going to put the latest CPU or anything in there, so it is going to be a little bit laggy. But hey, it's actually no different than using like an older smartphone, right? Essentially, this is just like a cheap smartphone dedicated to music. That's essentially what it is. You can install anything from Google Play on there, which also means you can install any of your streaming apps. For me, I don't use Spotify that much, but I installed it anyways. You know, sometimes, you know, I might want to listen to it, but yeah, I don't use Spotify that much, but I do have installed. I don't listen to Tidal or Deezer or Qobuz or anything, or Rune. I have YouTube Music. That's actually what I listen to more. So I have that installed, and then I have HEOS and Yamaha Music Cast, because that's what my amplifiers use for streaming. So yeah, and then you have this equalizer app, which is pre-installed, and all it is like you can turn on the equalizer and you can adjust the EQ. That's pretty much all it is. And then you can go into direct mode as well, for direct source. So you can use this as a line out, I guess. You can change that one to line out. By the way, this is something I noticed, is that this little micro SD card slot has a flap on it, which is like, that's something that I actually noticed a lot of the music players don't have, and this might be just something to consider if you're looking for something a little bit more water resistant. I think that people don't really think about this, like dust and water resistance for a music player, like people don't really think about it, but you're going to be using this outside, right? Like portably. For a digital audio player, DAP, you're still going to be using it outside a lot, and I don't know why a lot of like companies, like the Chinese audio companies and stuff, people making DAPs, Aston Kern, FiO, Shanling, iBasso, Kayin, like in Hi-B, like why don't they think about making their players water resistant? Because it's something that you'll be using outside, you know, as much as your phone. So I like that Sony put this little flap on here, because it makes it a little bit more dust proof and water resistant. And that's something I wish other players would think about as well. Because yeah, just having a little flap here was nice. You know, other players I've seen, they don't have any flap. It's just the micro SD is just exposed there. They usually just have a slot and you put in your card, and it's totally exposed to the elements. So yeah, I mean, you're going to be bringing this outside to play music, right? So, you know, this water resistance is something to think about. That's something that I don't see any DAPs, like being IPX something really, resistant rated, but they should really be thinking about that, because you use this outside. It's a portable device, right? Anyways, there's something like an aside I want to talk about. And it does come with the Sony Headphones Connect app as well. Yeah, so this is a little app where, yeah, if you have a Sony headphone, like the WF-1000 XM5s or WH-1000 XM5s, then, you know, or any other Sony headphone, it'll pretty much be using the Sony Headphones app. So it does come with that pre-installed. Now, I don't actually use any Sony headphones right now. I used to own a bunch of Sony headphones, but not anymore. But yeah, if you own Sony headphones, then yeah, install that app. So the main app is the Walkman app here, which is actually very familiar to me, because I used to use my Sony Xperia phones back in the day for mainly music. So yeah, I used to own the Xperia Z3 Compact and XZ1 Compact back in the day as my main music player. So the Walkman app is pretty familiar to me. It's a pretty decent music player app. I haven't compared it directly to some other apps like the Hi-B or whatever, but yeah, it'll get most of your things done, right? So you'll have the songs, the album, artist, folder, favorites, playlist, newest to oldest, high-res files only, genre. You can do USB DAC, release year, composer, cue sheets. Yeah, the cue sheets is interesting. I don't really expect to use that, but yeah. And then if you go to settings here, you can do shuffle, you can do repeat, playback range, and the cassette tape screen is pretty cool, because it goes into this like a nice vintage, like Sony Walkman has this heritage of being a cassette player, right? That's how the Sony Walkman series started, is as the world's first mobile music player, essentially, right? Playing cassettes. So the Sony Walkman really created a revolution in mobile music listening. You know, years before the iPod came out, the Sony Walkman was the OG portable music player with the cassettes and everything, right? So they have that cassette displayed there as a throwback. You can change the list to display. You can change the DSD settings, which I don't really play DSDs, but for people who care about that, there's DSD settings there. And then this is for scanning your music. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nice simple app to use. Yeah, again, I don't know what I prefer for the music apps, but on my Hibi, I use the Hibi music app, and then on the Sony Walkman, I use the Sony music app, and the Shanling just has their own music app as well. And they all do like similar things. I like the fact that I don't have to update anything for it to have a search functionality, though, because it already just has it. Maybe not for albums, but if you just do like a search here, this is just do a global search for anything, artist or song or whatever. So yeah, again, if I want to put Ariana on here, just do a search, and then I can go to either songs. This is all the songs I have with her, like actually in the title, or I can go with, actually this would be albums, I guess. This would be artists. So yeah, I guess I'll go, and then when I filter by artist, it'll actually go by yeah, the song here. So yeah, like if I play this one, this is the default music screen I'm playing. Actually, I hooked it up to my Bluetooth player. And since this is Android, it works with all my Bluetooth players. So yeah, that's pretty cool. The Shanling, like I said, didn't work with some of my Bluetooth players because some of them only connect with Android for some reason. But yeah, this one does because it's Android, right? So it connects with all my Bluetooth players and Bluetooth headphones and everything just fine, you know, using LDAC or aptX HD or whatever. So this is the little cassette screen, which is pretty cool. So I can start playing some of this. Yeah, actually I'll show you guys what it looks like when the little tape cassette UI interface is actually running. So I'll press play on this, and then once it starts playing, it should switch to the cassette interface. Now, here we go. And yeah, you guys can see the cassette interface actually moving here. And yeah, it's just a nice touch, you know. It's a nice throwback to the Sony Walkman's origins. And you know, of course, you can obviously turn it off if you don't like it, but I like to keep it on. You know, it's a nice touch. Very unique to the Sony Walkman compared to other digital audio players. Also, I found out about the volume. It looks like it can go all the way up to 120. So there's 120 steps in this volume. So, yep, goes up all the way to 120. So, yep, I found out that's how much it goes up to, 120 steps. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, you start playing the music player here. You can favorite it. Of course, you can change the settings for like shuffle, repeat, and everything. So yeah, you can shuffle, repeat, and here settings. You can display the tape playback screen. That's what I'm doing. Detailed song information. Display the lyrics. Yeah, pretty much everything you want here. Add to playlist, and then yeah, album cover here. Yeah, and then that's the favorites, I guess. So anyways, when you start playing this, then it goes into this cassette tape display, which looks like it's basically a throwback, right, to the original Sony Walkmans with the cassette players and everything. So it's kind of cute in that sense, right? So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it for the Sony Walkman. And then you have like a little mini player here as well, even when you exit the Walkman, so it's easy to hit. So yeah, I would say the biggest problem with this player, probably just like the slightly laggy interface because it uses Android, but it's not too bad. It's still usable, right? If you're only using this for music, then it's okay. It doesn't bother me too much because it's one of those budget players. And $300 is $100 more expensive than the M1 Plus. I think they're both good, although I would say that the Shanling probably still sounds better on the wired. So, I mean, this music player I did test with the wired as well, but yeah, it's not up to not the same level of detail as a Shanling M1 Plus. So if you guys are looking for like a very cheap music player, and then you guys really want to use it with wired headphones as well as Bluetooth, then the Shanling is the better choice. It's actually cheaper, $200, and actually sounds better on the wired. Has a pretty good DAC inside of it, the ES9069 Q. So it's got a pretty good DAC inside of it, and 660 milliwatts of power via the balanced. I mean, that's a lot more than the Sony Walkman. So I'm just gonna say this: if you guys are looking for probably the best value music player at the price point. $200 for the Shanling M1 Plus is amazing, okay? The amount of power that you get with the balanced especially, but even the single-ended, that added on to the fact that you have the top ESS Saber stereo DAC on it. This is a really good, really good value. And the interface and everything is fine. It's not Android, so you can't install some of your streaming apps on it, but it does have Tidal. But if you're just, you know, going to put your songs on your device, then this is really good. Shanling M1 Plus is what I recommend if you're looking for just a music player that can do like everything, the wired, the wireless, and pretty decent interface for the price. You know, for $200, I don't think this can be beat. Even for $300, even around the $300 price range, I think this is still a player that can't be beat. So yeah, this will compete with players like easily double the price, even triple the price. So if you guys are looking for the best value digital audio player out there, the Shanling M1 Plus is the one to beat. However, I'm just using stuff for wireless, and I'm just going to be streaming, so I don't care about the wired all that much. Then the Sony Walkman is fine. This one, of course, you can install more streaming apps onto it since it's full-blown Android. So you can install any of your Android applications onto it. You know, YouTube or whatever, you can just install that. You can watch videos on it even. So that's fine. So I'll probably, for me, just as a, if I'm just looking for a secondary music player to play music on, just stream music with, then I'll probably choose a Sony Walkman. Because this is more support for applications because it's full-blown Android. And plus, it just works with more of my Bluetooth devices. So yeah, the wired connection isn't quite as good as the Shanling. Like, it doesn't sound quite as good. It's not quite as detailed. It's not as powerful as the Shanling is. The DAC isn't quite as good. However, if I'm just using this mainly as a secondary music player just to stream music with, then this is probably the better choice for me. Because because it runs Android, it supports more streaming apps. It's pretty much that simple. But like I said, if you're looking for a music player for everything, wired listening and wireless listening, then the Shanling M1 Plus is better. So guys, let me know. Plus this has a rotary dial, which is nice. I do prefer having the rotary dial to the volume buttons here, which just makes it feel like a smaller mobile phone. But yeah, it really depends on what you want. If you're looking for a device just for streaming, for wireless playback, then I would go with the Sony Walkman, because that's what I'm doing. But if you're looking for just a player that can do everything, including wired listening, then the Shanling M1 Plus is the way to go. It has a better DAC and more output on the headphone amp. So yeah, and plus the rotary dial, I think is I like using it more than the mobile phone type volume controls on there. Yeah, I think the Shanling M1 Plus is definitely the one to beat for pure value, but both of these players are really small and compact. So, you know, you can't go wrong if you're just looking for just a nice portable music player that will fit in any pocket, like even your front shirt pocket. Either of these will do. So anyways, yeah, and plus the Shanling M1 Plus is cheaper. So $200, $300. Value-wise, you just can't beat the Shanling. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Which one would you choose out of these two? Definitely, I think the Shanling M1 Plus is the one to beat for just pure value, though. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching.
The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every love
drown, don't let me drown, 'cause I'm floating in your ocean. Oh, don't let me drown, don't let me down, no, no. It be your love, we are divine, no, don't let me drown. Ooh, girl, I like to be your soldier, soldier. No place I'd rather be than in your heart. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see you. Ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my